fear of that demon, there's two ways to assess the demon, right? Fuck everything and run, or face everything and recover.
I love that. Because you ever sit and ponder the meaning of life? My opinion of the meaning of life is we're here, and it's a school, is just to learn lessons and face your fears.
Shawn Nixon, John Mathew, the Bridge Podcast. Everything is connected. Thank you so much for coming on to the Free Yourself podcast again. I want to start off by saying, holy shit. Your podcasts, first off, me and Shawn and I have had numerous conversations and have been really close for the past 6 years of my life. John, we have not had as many deep conversations as Shawn and I have, but holy shit, John, I have a whole, you already knew that I love and respected you, right? Like, I hope you knew that already, right? But I honestly, like, I didn't know the level and the amount of knowledge. Like, I didn't know to what extent your knowledge and experience and was, and holy shit, I'm blown away by the points that you were making, the things you're bringing up, the experience and knowledge that you were talking about and having. So I had to start this podcast off with me expressing that to you. Like, I am blown away by your knowledge and the experience that you've been talking about on the Bridge Podcast with Shawn. Absolutely blown away, man. So thank you.
Thank you, sir, man. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the other day he was going on and on for like 30 minutes about how he was like, I knew John was awesome and smart, but goddamn, I'm like, I don't fuck with bums. This is fucking. Do you remember the video game Two Dragons, where there's the red dragon and the blue dragon, and it's like a yin yang shit? I need this guy, man. He saved me. You don't even know it. I pray and I meditate every day for the gratitude that I have for this guy. And I told him the story of how we kind of started, how we became best friends. And but I never told the story about how the fucking, as soon as the lockdown happened and I'm ready to fucking throw a toaster in the bathtub and shit. And because I literally lost my entire livelihood and couldn't see past all that. And everybody had their own depression because of that. And he called me up and he was like, nah, this is a good shit. This is a good thing. This is perfect. He goes, we're going to use this time to start a business and start a podcast and help people. And I already know that helping other people is how you help yourself, where you help yourself first and you're able to help other people. And he showed me the light, man. And he saved me again.
And divine timing. I was just doing what, I learned so much from you already, fitness, nutrition wise. I don't think there's anybody I know that I've learned more from in person. And again, that I can have these kind of conversations with. There's few and far in between. So means a lot, both you guys. So but thanks for having me on, brother.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, the stuff that, with everything that's happened, it's our duty to find the positive in all of this, right? Because the two beautiful things that have come out of this lockdown is your podcast and my podcast, two things that we both love to do. And we know if people start to listen and watch, like they can learn from our own experience, and not just like, I'm not just talking about like how Shawn and I we were talking about how someone probably started watching our podcast thinking they're going to get like the X's and O's of how to strength train and build muscle and all that. But in reality, like we're talking so much more about, we wound up talking so much more about the spiritual and the emotional and that stuff. Cause just like I remember I was talking about last time on the podcast, like so much of where we start our fitness journey might have been like, we don't like ourselves and we're not sure of where we don't know what to do anymore. So we got to make a change. And we think that it's going to be all physical. And what happens is so much more than that. And the four of your episodes are each centered on the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional. And I loved how you guys broke that down. And so I wanted to really, like, I mean, I want to focus on certain things, right? But like, just like with Shawn and I's last podcast, like it went in totally different ways. So like, I don't give a shit what we talk about. Like, you guys are just awesome, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life and on this podcast stuff.
I always used to say that when I was doing orientations and consultations with new clients and stuff. And I'd be like, how's your sleep? Like, how are you feeling in the morning? Like, when is your energy level? Like, how's this? How's that? And people would look at me crazy, like, oh, how's your diet? What are you eating? Like, what are you eating for breakfast? And people are like, you're supposed to be the fitness trainer. You tell me how many jumping jacks to do and how many bench presses to do. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get to that. I want to know what's going on. Like what's how's work? They're like, oh, whatever. I'm like, no, but like, how are you for real? And I read their energy first and see where they're lacking, and whether they need to be pushed forward or pulled back a little bit. And like you said, meet them where they're at. And it's always like, oh, you're the fitness trainer. How come you're not talking about exercise all the time? I'm like, human movement, that's a prerequisite of being a human, of being a mammal. Like, we're gonna move. Don't worry. I won't fucking smoke your ass. But we got to get your mind right first, or at least I got to assess where you're at.
Hell yeah! I mean, it. How I'm thinking about the past 3 months and my journey of, I broke out like worse than I'd ever broken out with my eczema, and my asthma got really bad really over the past year, because I had a 3-month period where I was completely rid of asthma and eczema, and it was when I went full carnivore leading up to my competition in September. And then at that competition had 3 different types of pre-workout and all this stuff, and then broke the hell out, needed to take steroids like prednisone and all this stuff, and my asthma got even worse. And like, when I was playing hockey and couldn't breathe because of the cold air, but I thought there was, and I had to really like take a look at everything that was happening. And over the past now 3 months, my eczema is non-existent. The itchiness, the whatever, but the reality is, like, all of this stuff leading to my quality of life like fucking skyrocketing, all just because of the things that you were just talking about. You had the conversation with the person, like, what's your sleep? How much water are you drinking? You know, what are you doing in your day-to-day life? How's your diet? I'm not even talking about the exercise that I was doing. It was all this other stuff that I needed to change, right? Like, I needed to make sure 8 hours of sleep. I needed to make sure I'm drinking at least a gallon of water. Like, it's usually more than that. I'm thirsty. It's not the rigid, I need to drink a gallon of water. It's like, I need to drink water before I drink anything. When I have food, I need to drink more water to help the digestion. And I need to make sure that what I'm eating doesn't elicit these responses, because I thought for so long eczema and asthma was just a part of me. I was born with this. I had no idea that it was all related to what I was eating, and that if I take away the things that elicit those responses, I will no longer have it. Like, I didn't.
Yeah, you're the only one that's in control of your health, right? No one is coming to save you. A diagnosis of any kind from a doctor is not a life sentence. That just shows you what you need to work on. 99% of disease is lifestyle factor. That means only 1% of people are born with shit, unfortunately, that they're fucked or they got to work on, right? Or live with and deal with. 99% of the rest of us are in control 100% of our health through diet, which equals lifestyle, movement, sunshine, purpose, sleep, rest, and food.
So yeah, and those you're talking about in your consultations, you ask those questions. I think one of the really most important things as a coach or someone just listening is 2 things. So you're getting the information about how much they sleep, how much they water, but what I'm really getting beyond that is, because that's going to be whatever it is. I'm getting, well, how self-aware are you, right? That's the first thing, awareness, right? Are you even aware of? Do you even think about it? You know. And the second thing is where you're at with your emotional relationship to yourself, because I can tell the person who lies to me about what they eat, and I can tell the person who's honest with me, and it's almost all a lie because people, we're all doing this right now. We're all wearing this mask of Shawn, John, Ryan, right? But so we're playing the role of John right now. So everyone's playing their role, and they come to you in terms of help.
I love that. I like to put up a billboard and take my mask off, and I'm just like, whenever you're done lying to yourself, you can't lie to me because we're gonna be friends, or this ain't gonna work out. And if they start peeling the layers of their mask off, metaphorically, then you get down to the good shit.
Yeah, it's about creating that space for someone to feel safe, to be able to take off the mask, right? So I think, that's the biggest part of being that, again, the fitness stuff, we'll get to that. The nutrition stuff, I'll tell you what to eat, right? We'll figure that out. But where you at? How you feeling? Really, where you at? How you feeling? So, because if we're not starting from an authentic place, then we're not going to go to an authentic place, right? And so no matter where we end up getting, even if it's on paper where your goal is, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're not going to be there because you've never been there to start. If that makes sense.
And here's a connection that I can make with that. So for anyone that comes to you, the level of results that they're going to get has a direct correlation with the level of honesty they have with you and how they're living and what they're doing. And but really, like, with how honest they are with themselves, right? Because like with me, I always hesitate when I go to bring this up because I don't know how many people can relate, but I guess a lot of people can relate, is because so in my work in Narcotics Anonymous, like the level of honesty that I have in my step work, like in the 12 steps, like will have a direct correlation with how free I am through how free I am in the process and the level, like, trying to explain this the way like someone else could relate to this, like how honest I am with my sponsor and how I'm living has a direct correlation with how much I'm going to recover from the disease of addiction. I don't know why I even put it's the disease of addiction, like
right, it is.
And so now I'm coming to you guys as like not just a friend and like a fellow podcaster, like a legitimate fan of what you guys have put together. Like it's I'm sitting there like, holy shit, like you guys are blowing my mind, and everything is connected with I love that tagline for the bridge, and so much of what you guys talk about is just like it's turning the right wheels in my head, and I'm so happy you guys have started officially doing it, because like this is stuff that you're not going to get on freaking, we say what we want about, each individual person's Instagram, but like you're not going to get this, reaching out, looking, at least in my experience, I don't get this kind of conversation and the things that you guys are talking about when I'm looking up how to get better results in the gym. You know what I mean? But in reality, this is what's so important.
That's why we're so successful, is because we actually care about people. We're not there for the paycheck. That's going to come when we do our best, and we have an understanding of time and patience. We actually care about people because we've suffered and we have empathy for the suffering in other people, and we know how to help them. Let me throw John an alley-oop real quick. He was explaining the 12-step program in Narcotics Anonymous, and he called it his step work, which to me sounds exactly like shadow work. And when someone is telling their story, like sharing with the group, and then they get to a thing that's bothering them that may cause them to use that day or hurt themselves or harm someone else, and they tell that story, how they're feeling not good and they want to use their drugs or whatever, somebody in the crowd will yell out, "Free yourself." And that's why he named his podcast that. But think about that for a moment, on like some Peter Crown shit and whatever. Everybody's looking for happiness, which is freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. You should talk to my my boss. That's a good. I got a guest for you.
Oh, that'd be a sick guest. Yeah.
Sick guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because that's what we're all trying to do, is free yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I did not know that.
So
That's the way I interpreted it, you know what I mean? But some people call me crazy, so.
Well, I was reading, so a book I'm reading now, currently working through, it's called Radical Self-Acceptance, Living Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha. It's by Tara Brach. And then she's a like actual PhD psychologist, but she's also, spent time with like a guru, gone on the spiritual path of her own, done her own counseling work. But she has a great part with one of her clients who was supposed to give a speech he was supposed to give at some convention or talk or gathering, some spiritual gathering. And he goes up there, and all of a sudden he has, he has issues with panic attacks. He goes into this really intense panic attack, and he can't remember anything what he's supposed to say in front of hundreds of people. So he's into the mic. So he just breathes for a moment, calms down, and just starts reciting out loud into the mic with himself for about 7 minutes, everything he's feeling. So he's saying, I feel disorganized. I feel like a failure. I feel like I can't do this. I feel silly. I feel like a fool. Like right out into the mic, just with himself for 7 minutes, not even giving a speech. He lets everything come out. And finally, doing all of that, releasing all of that, allowed him to remember what he was there for. And he looked up in the crowd, and there's people crying in the crowd, and people were like, that's the most amazing thing you could have ever taught us, is to just sit with yourself in that moment and let yourself experience every single thing you're experiencing, not try to push away the bad or elevate the good, just let it come out. And not be afraid of the judgment that is always on our mind with other people judging us, right? Why did I bring that up? Oh, the free yourself. Yeah, you just kind of went with it.
That was beautiful.
that's exactly
Sometimes you throw somebody an alley-oop and they just put it in, and sometimes they fucking windmill the shit. And that's why he's here, man. That's beautiful.
But yeah, it's a really powerful story because nobody does that. Nobody wants to be that vulnerable because all that's fear, and all fear stems from the fear of death. So we have this programming within us that is just always trying to survive, just to survive this illusion of who we think we are, right? Which is, that's a 6-hour video documentary.
that is I love that story, and it parallels so much to what I have the beautiful pleasure of being able to see in a lot of these Narcotics Anonymous meetings, like these people that come up, like there's the only time, like I'm lucky because I'm grateful. I'll use my words the right way. I'm really grateful that I have that I've had this experience, that I'm in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and I can share my deepest, darkest, whatever is bothering me, what's overcome me, what I feel is holding me back. And not only do I have the comfort of knowing that, like, I'm not going to be judged, but then someone over in the corner is laughing, not because they're laughing at me, but because they also are feeling it or have gone through it and stayed clean through it. And they're just like waiting for me to be done and to come up to me after the meeting and being like, bro, I feel you. Like, I get it, man. And this is what I did to overcome it, being in the solution rather than being in the problem. And I have, so now one thing that has caused me one thing that I've witnessed now seeing is that so from the meetings, we go to those meetings, and us addicts, we're in these meetings to share where we're at, to find a solution to how to get through it. Now, when someone comes to me and they're complaining about something, they're talking to me about something, my first reaction is, if I have experience with that, I need to share with them how I got through it. And where my ego comes into play is they now need to listen to me and do it. And that part is hard for me to dial back, because not like Shawn and I were talking about this, when people are coming to you and coming to me and complaining, they're actually not looking for the solution. They just want to complain. And I can't do that anymore. Now that I know that I now know what it does. Like I've gotten past that part of my life where I can come to someone and complain about where I'm at, and just to complain. Right?
Yeah,
If I'm opening up to someone about what I'm going through, it's because I want a solution, not because I'm trying to complain. It's like I don't know. And that part has actually caused some, discomfort in relationships, and it's actually I've pushed people away with it. And the part that I have to remember, like, that part is the Tao, the Tao, the Dao, I forget, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
I don't know shit.
That's what pretty much was it. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much it.
I don't know shit. So like, why am I trying to tell someone how to live?
That means you're wise.
Yeah.
Because dumb motherfuckers think they know everything.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's your natural instinct when someone comes to you with. So like I'm the same way too. Like you have that instinct to like, well, let me help you. Like let me show you how to do this. And it's, like when they come to you complaining, what's really happening, you said they're doing it to complain, but they're doing it because there's two things, right? So they're stuck in a pattern of complaining, and they don't actually believe that they can change, right? Because as much as they think they want to change, they're very, very much attached to where they are right now, because no matter if it's good or bad, that where they are right now is safe. They've known it for a while. So, and it's also probably not where they're at just in their journey, right? So when someone's ready to change, they're going to change. It'll happen. But two things are necessary for that: time, right, and then the right conditions to be under, right? So some people are just not ready to take that step. You have to have compassion for those people, because I mean, like, I want you to change because I know this is gonna be so good for you. Like I want this for you. Like and that's from the best part of you, right? But then again, there's the ego saying that I can force someone to do something, even if it's for their own good, or saying that I know what's best for somebody. Yeah. Because I can see, somebody who's a shitty human being, and I can say, like, I can help you. But if they're not right, open to be helped, and if it's not that time with the universe doing what it's doing for them to realize that, then I'm creating friction and resistance within myself, trying to make something happen. When I can, like the Tao, just let it go.
Let it go. People want to be heard. That's what that is. People just want to be heard. And the ego doesn't need to be healed. It needs to be held. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Ram Dass said, he's like, the thing is, I tried to explain this to you the other day, but I didn't articulate it properly. I may not now, but it's like, he was like, the key and the paradox is to not make people seem like they need help and they're helpless without you, but then still helping them.
Yeah. So if you read like any of like all those the Zen masters or teachers or those great sages, they're all pointing you to the direction, not telling you what's there or where to go. They're just
you can only throw the bird seed on the ground. You can't be like, you stupid fucking sleeping sheep, fucking eat the bird seed. I know it's good for you. I'm trying to help you. This is going to be good for both of us. You can just throw the seed down, and if he doesn't eat it, somebody else is going to eat the birds. If you're throwing the bird seed for the birds and the bird's too stupid or not, let's not say too stupid, that's a judgment, not ready to eat it, and the squirrel's going to come and eat it. You know what I mean? All you can do is provide the seed.
It's like those, it's all paradoxes, right? So you think I'm like, it's somebody else's fault, I can relax.
The victim is an easy role to play.
Yeah.
It's super easy.
The reformed man, like the reformed person, the person who's made a mistake, can admit their defeats or admit their failures, admit their weaknesses, is someone who can actually learn from them. But if you deny your weaknesses, deny your failures, deny the patterns that are showing themselves to you in your life and your experiences, then you're not going to learn the lesson that they're there to bring you. So you can't ever escape. You can just stay safe, and it feels good because safe feels good, you think, but there's so much more, there's so much more.
And that's why vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness, because once you open up and become vulnerable, now you're no longer vulnerable, which is the paradox that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's I know where's time.
Go ahead, man.
We're just free ball here, but like there's another story of the Buddha. I forget the name of the demon of death that comes to disrupt him. But he's sitting under the Bodhi tree, and he knows Mara is the demon that's going to come, right? And so this demon's coming, and Buddha says, "Oh, great, the Mars coming, the demon's coming, I'll prepare a table and have tea with him. And so his openness to the demon that's supposed to bring fear actually dissipates the demon and makes it go away. So being open, like, oh yeah, let's make some tea. I'm gonna make some tea for my greatest fear, the demon, the thing that's supposed to be the most evil thing. But it's so funny. You go toward the problem instead of running away from it.
Don't push away your demons.
Yeah.
Give them names, give them a chair, give them some tea, get used to them, get comfortable. That reminds me of.
Oh, sorry, there you go.
Well, that just reminds me of the fucking the Jocko video. If you say like, good, everything is good. Oh, the devil's here, good. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Good. Now we can get better. The project fell through and something bad happened. Nah, good. We're gonna get more time to train, more time to get better. Good. If you're meditating and the devil shows up, invite the devil to meditate.
Yeah.
Don't push him away. Because when you push away your demons, you're giving them power. You're saying, I'm afraid of you, and now you're in fear, which is the opposite of growth, right? You're never going to be in a growth and progressive state if you're in a state of fear. So don't give your demons that power. Take the power away from them.
So fear of that demon can bring about, there's two ways to assess the demon, right? And they're both, I'm talking about two acronyms of fear. I couldn't figure out the right words to take. And so the demon, whatever comes, and you can fuck everything and run, or you can face everything and recover.
Oh.
So you face that demon. You sit there with that demon. You face the freaking whatever thing you're going through, and you actually in turn grow through it. And
love that. I love that. Because you ever sit and ponder the meaning of life? My opinion of the meaning of life is we're here, and it's a school, is just to learn lessons and face your fears. You got to face your fears head on, which comes back to the original thing that we were like talking about before we got in the weeds, is awareness.
And in combination with those two things, and going back into the Buddha route, and then maybe even the yogic route too, the idea of karma. What people think karma is like, if I do something good will happen to me, or if I do this thing, like it's not necessarily like a transactional like that, but our minds think like that because we
perceive time as a linear thing. It's America. Time is linear and it's real, and so is money.
Yeah, exactly. But karma really, those lessons that are appearing to you, every significant, even minor things that appear to you in your life are they're not, so it's difficult, right, to say this with someone who's experienced real trauma or like really in something really horrible in their life, to say that thing was for them, right? But
I believe that though. But I know what you mean.
And well, you've been through some crazy stuff, so you can actually, that's a a testament to the truth of what's going on.
Your life's not all sunshine and rainbows either. But.
Yeah, no, whose is, right? So, but karma is really, again, reflecting to you. You're going to keep repeating the same patterns over. We were just talking about this before we started. I was just going over last night in my journal, all the patterns I'm recognizing now that have reoccurred. And it's almost, with the awareness, which is the second thing you said, allows me to see, okay, this is coming at me. I can see this now. I made this mistake 10, 12 times already now, but now I got the awareness now. I did the work, I delved in, I didn't judge myself for what was happening, and now I can see clearly, and I can dissipate that karmic reaction, right? But things follow us around until we figure it out.
Those are the stages and steps. First, you're unaware. Then when you become aware, you start beating yourself up over your old shit, and you're still holding on. First, you got the weight on your back, and you don't know it's on your back. Then you see it, and you're like, all this shit happened to me. I'm still holding on to all this shit. Right? And then that's still the pattern there. And that's what I was saying earlier about letting go of your old bullshit.
Literally that's like what the step work in Narcotics Anonymous is about.
Right. We just call it different shit, but everything's the same.
Yeah. And bro, so last podcast was the first podcast that I cried on, right? So this time I was just sitting here and my eyes were tearing up because I was having this realization. It was while you were talking about it, and I guess the thought about like Buddhism and Ram Dass and all this stuff and my higher power and how it's actually like you said time is linear, and like all this stuff was like happening inside my brain, and I was thinking about the symbol that now the what's the eye symbol, the not the third eye but the
I showed him. We started talking about the pineal gland.
Yeah,
So, and as he's talking about it, I see in the camera that I have the eye of Horus. I got all like Egyptian shit in my room.
That's perfect.
And I pulled it off, and that's when I got like way off the rails, and everybody clicked off because they're like, "This guy's a psycho." And
hold on, no, because and that's when I was talking about how like the old man in the sky with the big long beard, like I don't believe in the Christian presence of that, but like I do find comfort in thinking my higher power is that. And then we talked about how like, oh shit, I'm actually picturing me, because you were saying Jesus is, and then I was like, I felt the connection to like so like how, oh man, I'm trying to figure out the word. All right, so how Buddhism believes in reincarnation, right? It's Buddhism, or is it Hinduism?
So Hinduism and Buddhism both believe in different ideas.
An eternal soul.
Yeah.
So the whole reincarnation, I remember Duncan Trussell talking about like we are always being reincarnated, because like what is my child but like another reincarnation of me.
Where did it come from?
I was taking it back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the old man in the beard is actually, it's my grandfather. And then I was like, but then it's his father, and then his father, and my eyes were like tearing up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm connected to every, and those are all my past selves, and I'm like
That's real.
I was like, while you guys were talking, like I'm having this internal moment. I'm like, my eyes are tearing up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm connected to every Janni ever.
Yeah. Because he started talking about God, and we put the lowercase g and kind of defined it briefly or whatever. And then he started talking about his higher power that he learned in the STEP program as like they and him and something. I'm like, that's you, bro.
Yeah.
That's your higher self.
Yeah, whenever you come face to face with it, like you're doing right now,
it's intense.
And you make that realization, you're like, oh shit,
it's a mirror. Oh shit, it's me controlling this mammal Homo sapien body in this dimension, in this incarnation, in the time we call now. But you're controlling it, and then I went on the metaphor of like it's a video game. You're just controlling this avatar any way you want.
In yoga, I forget the specific text or story about this, but there's a guy with 3 heads, right? And they each have a mask, right? So it's when we take off, it's a whole practice of yoga. I teach yoga now, didn't know. But the whole practice of yoga is really to get rid of, or to not get rid of, but to really understand and control the mind, and the cessation of the mind stuff is what yoga really is, really yoking or bringing together that spiritual connection. But it's taking off that mask and seeing the reflection for who you actually are. I mean, you take off that mask, you start to see it in literally every single other person. And that's what's the real trip, is when you start seeing like, that's me and this is me.
That's the next level. I didn't want to blow your mind twice in one day because it's already blown. Once you see your higher self, then you see it in everybody else.
You know, the same little blackness in his eyes is the same thing in here. It's just we've all had these masks on, but yeah.
We all the same. That's why, and please stop me when I get too political. That's why they try to separate people by race and all this other shit. So we forget that we're all the same and that we all should love each other because it's the same as loving yourself. That's why they divide people by gender and race and occupation and country and nationalism and wars and all this separation. And it's the fucking black people versus the cops, and it's the Republicans versus the Democrats, and it's this versus this. We all the same, man.
It's all the same. But you know, it's when we get caught up in wanting free, like individuality and expression of the individual, which is important only if you can recognize that you're also at a deeper level connected to everybody else. Like, I love my being original and the uniqueness of me, but I can only really, really, truly appreciate that if I know that I'm also the same thing as him, if that makes sense. Another paradox for you. It's all fucking paradox. It's just knocking them out of the park.
I was just like, I was trying to think of like how we're all like, you were saying like separating race and everything like that, and how the media whatever does that to us. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the part that connects me to my third eye, my brain, is my eyes. And there, we all have that same black dot in our eyes that is like the connection. And I was trying to be like, but is there a time when someone doesn't have that
Nope.
black dot in their eye that connect? And then I'm like, so I'm having all sorts of freaking.
You know what the eyes are? The windows to the soul. And over here, everybody's like, I thought lifting weights makes you big and bulky and yoga's for stretching. The fuck are these fucking hippies talking about?
Yeah.
When I'm blasting fucking death metal and gangster rap and doing fucking weighted chin-ups and shit. And people think these fucking, I don't understand these hippies and their.
And he goes home and like sage and then
It's real though. You don't even know I'm in a fucking bubble bath with essential oils and shit. This motherfucker.
Balancing all things.
Balancing all things.
Dude, and I've another thing that's come out of quarantine, like I already appreciated yoga, but I wasn't doing it a lot. And I'm still not doing it as much as I would like. And that's only myself holding me back from that. You know, like I know that.
Yeah, it's not, you don't need
like, you know what I mean? Like
we know.
But the thing that I've really started to love that. he had the defund the media shirt last time. I got this freaking. The shirts are always, and then you had the Kanye 2020 and one of your other one, dude. All of it, it's awesome. So, well, so the yoga piece. So how one of the things that I love about yoga is how much it's connected to meditation and the breathing and the breath. And it's like I every time that I've done yoga, it's immediately followed with meditation. And that's where I wanted to go with this and what I wanted to ask you guys about. And because you said a lot about, it's not just about working out energy, it's about working in energy. And you guys said it. You're doing that. You said it. You're the one that taught me that shit. But
when you say it out loud, like, oh,
I had never, right? Like I didn't think of meditation as working energy in. Like I knew it was giving me energy, you know what I mean? But I didn't think of it as not the opposite of working out. But I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like it.
No,
it
you're
is.
saying it.
yeah,
And because that's the thing, you needed him to say it because everyone else is either a projection or a reflection of yourself. That's why he heard you say his words and he was like, "Oh, that's smart, man. You're a smart motherfucker." And he was like, "Yo, you said it." And I was like, "Yeah, but we all the same."
But when I said it and you said it, and it was me saying it, but you saying it, and there was the same thing. And
this is how to take mushrooms sober.
Yeah, it's just basically it. Have a
seriously. and you know, just
that's why racism equals ignorance, because you're automatically using just your eyes for some superficial nonsense and judging somebody that is a reflection or projection of you. You hate something in yourself and you haven't dealt with it, and you're projecting it on somebody else who's supposed to be a reflection of your inner child and your higher self and your love for yourself.
So when they say like law of attraction, what that really is that reflections and projections, right? You will come to, at the right time, you will meet a certain person that's meant to show you something and you're showing them something back equally. So it's never, and so we get caught up in like, these things are happening to me, but it's a mutual thing that's happening around. Everybody's doing, so back to that karma thing, karma literally is translated, and it literally means action, right? So So there is a type of yoga called karma yoga, the yoga of action. So karma is essentially there's consequences to each action and non-action, essentially, both. So there's, and that's just dealing with your karma is dealing with the consequences of those actions over. So you repeat karma until you understand the consequences and deal with those consequences, or make changes to avoid them and change your life. So yeah. I mean, you were talking about yoga, the physical practice, but like the 8 limbs of yoga, only one of them is the physical practice. It was a spiritual practice like hundreds of thousands of years before it became a physical practice. There's only really a new thing. And now we got, like upper middle class white ladies with Lululemon doing it, and that's what everything yoga is. But originally it was only for men. It was only for rich men in the palace. It's really funny how that's interesting how that kind of transition happened, but it's all the same. I'm not hating on Lululemon or for middle class white women.
No, that was beautiful.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people do it for group fitness. But if you are open to it, it can allow you to train, to delve into the deeper workings of the mind, the heart, the soul, which is my favorite part about it. The physical stuff is awesome. I like doing it, but it's really like this stuff and this stuff that gets me going.
Yeah, he's still deadlifting and doing weighted chin-ups.
Yeah.
And shit, you know what I mean? And people click on there. They're like, I just wanted to lose 6 pounds and do some bicep curls. The fuck are they talking
now
about?
I'm going through ego death. What the hell?
And now, now I'm in the mirror crying, thinking about when fucking mommy didn't listen to me when I was 5, and now I don't think I'm good enough, and that's why I eat too much, and that's why I need to lose 6 pounds.
And that's
and
why
maybe if I
the
just
same men in my life, and that's why,
and maybe if I just love myself more, not only will I lose those 6 pounds, but I'll keep it off and become a better human being.
And I will attract someone who is doing that as well.
Eventually.
People wonder why they get, or when somebody who gets in the same relationships over and over again. Maybe all of us have probably done that at some point too, right?
What a coincidence.
That's your karma,
It's
man.
the same bitch with a new face.
Woo! It's you.
But it's me. It's a fucking beer with tits. And you fall for the trick because you have human hormones and stuff that make you fall for that trick.
And you're programmed into it.
Our ego is so big that we fall in love with a projection of ourselves.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yep. And then and then it really works when it's someone that what's the word, like a yin yang, who's someone like completes where you're lacking.
So I mean,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So like the way I have it in my mind. Wait, what was that?
Opposite.
So I would say something different. I would say complementary personality traits, because it's really literally the exact right amount of similarity and the exact right amount of opposite, right? Because it's like, and this is any relationship, people just think a relationship is romantic, but like our relationship, there's a lot of similarities here, but we're different enough in the right ways that make it, we elevate each other essentially.
On paper, we're twins. We don't look alike. We don't have the same body type. Like everything, like digestion, workout style, everything is yin yang opposite, but we think exactly the same.
Do you guys know the comedian Chris Stefano?
Yeah. I don't know him well, but I know him.
Yeah.
It's like he says it perfectly. He's like, I fall in love with men, but I have sex with women. He's like, I'm not gay. But I fall in love with men. And
no, for real. That's me.
My relationships with men have been so much more intimate and open so far than they have with the women that I have sex with. Like,
yeah.
Like he says it like as a joke, like to be funny and stuff, but like, no, that's real.
I told you the other day, artists are the prophets. So even in comedy, that's art. There's a message there. So the front of your brain goes, ha ha, that's funny. And then when you think about it deeper, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like when you watch like a freaking, I'm trying to think of a good director. If you watch some crazy good movie, tripping on mushrooms, and you're like, oh, I get it now. Like really, really get it now.
There's layers to this shit.
Like the time that I watched
relationship thing. But that's why you track the same. So what usually most people are doing is like, what most people think, right, is like if you have half of an orange, and that represents you and I half of an orange, we put that orange together, and now we got ourselves a whole orange. Seems pretty awesome, right? But then he has to go and off and do something, and then he takes his orange with him, and I'm left with half an orange. So now I feel empty, right? Because I wouldn't have that half before. So now I'm going to put an emotional toll on him to be with this because I need him to make me feel complete. and vice versa. And that's what a codependent relationship is, right? There's two people who need each other only because they need each other to complete themselves, not to complete each other, right? But two people, he brings an orange and I got an orange too. I can chop up the orange any which way I like and give him X amount of pieces and you give me the same back. And we'll still have a whole orange, right? Like no matter what, like we can interchange everything and it'll still be whole no matter what. So,
or I take my orange and come back, or I don't come back.
And I'm still okay because I got my orange.
It's still all good.
That's Peter Cohn says, you know, like two whole. So they make a joke about it.
Yeah,
because he said Aubrey Marcus, like on the podcast I was listening to, he just got married, and he's like, yes, you found your other half, but he made a joke like, oh, it's your other whole. But then just saying that, that's true.
But think about that's a triple entendre.
Yeah.
Your other whole.
Yeah.
But your other whole.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, exactly, right? So they didn't even realize until yes, that knows. But
that's fucking hilarious. Whew. You just went from fucking comedian to Buddha back to comedian in a triple entendre.
And a super random side note, but there's a really good, I think it's a Pixar short, but I mean, it's probably not Pixar short, but a really good short film. Like one of those animated short films that wins an award, but no one knows about it.
Yeah.
Like it's on YouTube, has like millions of views. But that illustrates that extremely well what I just talked about, like the half and the whole and how that plays out in a relationship and what's really healthy. So it's most people, and that's not just a relationship with a person, that's a relationship with anything. Like even working out, which is good for you. But if I needed to complete myself, if I can't not do it, right, then now I'm codependent on something or someone else to make myself feel whole. And nobody, and then you're never going to attract somebody else who's whole within themselves. You will always attract a codependent relationship. And we all learn that lesson the hard way.
When you got your broken pieces, you're like, who's got the other pieces? And you're like, and she's like, I got broken pieces. And then it feels good for a little bit.
Yes, but then eventually I kind of want to do my own thing, but you won't let me do my own thing because you need me to do it.
And now nobody has the full complete pieces.
So now we resent each other, and then now we break apart, and then I just go looking for something else.
Somebody else with pieces. Who has other broken pieces that match my pieces?
It felt really good at one point.
I want to feel good. I need someone else to make me feel good. But that's where you done fucked up. Have you ever seen the movie? How come we have not talked about this? Inside Out?
Yes. You know,
dude, one of the best movies ever.
That's a good one.
I was trying to break it down to him. That's a must watch.
Oh, you've not seen it?
For anyone out there.
Well, I know about it. I've never seen it, but I know about it and I know the premise. And it was
the premise is life.
we were talking about because we were talking about emotions and actually putting a face and a color and a thing to it so that it doesn't look and it's not us. Right, because because we're not our emotions. We are the space in between the thing that happens to us and the emotional response. We are that in between space, and we need. I keep it on me. I need to realize that whenever something happens to me, I can pick whichever emotion is the reaction to that thing, and if I continue to choose the happiness, the joy, the gratitude, the empathy as the emotional reaction to the thing, I will in turn lead I will lead that whole light. I will be that whole inside of the whole inside of the whole inside of the whole.
W, the whole.
Who knew that you can make me love holes even more?
Yeah, man. Because that's a circle, right? But where does the circle start and where does it end? Boom. The answer is forever.
And the answer is everything always.
The answer is everything always. That's the
answer is everything is connected.
It is.
Wouldn't be a circle if it wasn't connected. You know, everything always happened the same way it happened perfectly. Always.
100%.
Always.
All the time. 100%.
Everything's always
100% of the time.
Because you can't change it.
Oh, man.
It happened, so it happened.
So, how many carbs you running right now? What's your macros, bro?
Yeah.
Doing chest. Listen, we do arms on Friday. It's kind of a big deal. We wear pink on Wednesday, and we do chest on Monday.
That's what it is.
Oh man.
He don't even care about fitness anymore.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? So I'm not picking on my kids. So one of my clients, so he's 18 now, and he just wants. I'd worked with him way back when he was a little bit chubbier kid in high school, and he lost a decent bit of weight. But he did it the way that like I'm just gonna eat nothing and run on a treadmill.
Salads and treadmill, nice.
And so he lost tons of weight, but he's like, yeah, but I noticed when I did that, I didn't look any different. I just looked less of me. I'm
a smaller unhappy person.
Yeah,
I was a big unhappy person. Now I'm a smaller unhappy person.
So I'm working with him. He's doing an excellent job picking things up and really been focusing. But he's in that phase now, which we definitely have all been there. When you first start getting into fitness, and you're looking at the ether of the internet and all the nonsense that's on there. And he told me something on TikTok. He said he saw something on TikTok where a guy was saying that you don't need to work out your legs because you just get your upper body big enough, your legs will have to get stronger to hold your upper body up. And I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, you got trolls. Famous
That's
trolls.
genius. See, he may have been trolling or joking, but kids believe that shit. Because it feeds into their comfort of what they're like, I don't want to do legs anyway, because that's hard.
Yeah.
And this guy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just get gigantic upper body, and then my legs will follow suit.
Little secret. This is one piece. Your human spacesuit, there's no arm day, leg day, whatever. Want to know why? Because it's all connected.
Yeah, if you're doing a standing bicep curl, your legs should be engaged. Your core should be engaged. Your neck, your shoulders, chest, everything's engaged. Serratus.
Be breathing. You should
Life.
Oxygen is important, Ryan.
Everything in the universe is connected. Everything on Earth is connected. Everything within the body is connected.
And you should be hydrated, and you should have eaten good things to build and you slept well, and you should
You're getting the connection.
Meditated and you should but it's
should is a judgment, but if you want optimal results to be healthy and happy and free with your life, then that would be a good idea. But we don't force people to change here.
Yeah, possibilities. So what can you do? Could is also a past tense, like it also a regret kind of thing, but what can you do? Because that refers to this exact moment.
Yep. What will you do?
The words of the movie The Campaign. Can't is the real C word.
That's amazing.
That's phenomenal. Let's wrap this shit up and end on that. That was hilarious, man.
Oh my God. I love you guys so much. That was I just went on a whole slew of the brain smush fart emoji and the brain exploding emoji.
That's what we're here for.
And I'm holy shit.
That's less than 1%, bro. If we didn't have to go somewhere, we do this for 8 hours.
This is what we do.
Yeah, we're holding back here.
We'll be back, bro.
I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming on and doing the Free Yourself podcast. It is always a pleasure. I look forward to doing many more with you guys because this spiritual stuff is what sets my friggin' soul on fire, and I love it so goddamn much. And I cannot. It's never the intention. It's always like we're gonna get people fit, and we're gonna and because everything's connected, we talk about the stuff that's really important, and that's really all of this stuff that the spiritual, the emotional, is so important to me because it's what's really changed my life. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on and being the people that I can speak to about this stuff. You know what I mean? So I love you guys. To everybody that has been watching and has tuned in, first off, tell them again where they can see you guys, get a hold of you guys, get more information.
Click on all our shit.
The Bridge Podcast.
The Bridge Podcast.
Instagram. We got the
Coach,
website.
yeah, Coach Shawn Nixon on Instagram. Shawn Nixon on YouTube. It's a big deal. This is where you want to get in early. So when we got hundreds of thousands of followers, you're going to be like, yo, I was there in the beginning when they was just starting.
You're the VIP.
And you're the VIP and you get bragging rights and shit.
Free merch. There you go.
Comedy.
I love it.
Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it so much.
Love you guys. To everybody
Peace,
watching, peace, love.
Peace.
Back. We out.
The bridge, baby.
Love you guys.
Deuces.